Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Saturday, October 26, 2024. I titled this video Somewhat Woo and Vanderbilt 2. So just a little disclaimer here. If your comfort zone won't encompass considering things like warfare in the spiritual realm, um, nefarious acts done on the part of some faith practices to empower that harm others, then you might want to just skip this video and I'll come back with something more current eventsy soon. But actually, if you stay with us, there is a layer of current events to this video. Again, I'm not trying to be mysterious, but sometimes when I talk about things that I call woo, it means I'm going to be looking at two or three, possibly more items that seem to be a little bit diverse and may not have an obvious connection. And then we find out if there is, in fact, some sort of connection. My hope for this video is connection or not, we come away with some feeling of empowerment of what can we do? We who want our world to go from dark to light, to do what we can to make it happen, to cause no harm to anyone in the process, to be of aid and assistance to those that might need it, who have trouble handling change, especially sudden change, which may be upon us and in some ways already is. So yeah, let's stay for the empowerment. And if the woo factor is a little interesting, that's great too. Okay, I'm going to take you to a compilation I've got. I can't that comprehension is, excuse me, compilation isn't as comprehensive as I would like because there's a couple of places that I went that I'm not allowed to give you an obvious link to, but I'll try to mention them in case it's one you're not familiar with or want to review. They're not any place awful. It's just that, that there's some restrictions on what I'm allowed to share. And I try to work within the bounds of that and do so without losing my channel. So when I take you to this compilation, I'll show you what I was allowed by Facebook to put in, which means I'm going to be allowed to share it on YouTube. I'll tell you where something came from, but I wasn't allowed to give you an obvious link. Okay? All right, so let's go to that compilation. Again, if it interests you, click on the Facebook link that will be in the video description box for this video. All right, 1 second. So here's one of the more famous family portraits of Gloria Vanderbilt and her sons, and Anderson Cooper is one of the children in this family photo. And Gloria Vanderbilt is reputed to have been a very, very high-ranking dark witch. And I'll just leave that statement out there. I have no reason to argue with it. Okay, now I had some interesting information from a fellow creator over on the X platform. I've mentioned her before, Hilarion. Now this is where it gets a little woo for some of you and why I said you might not want to hang around. Hilarion says that she works in the spiritual realms, helping our loving creator and the seraphim or good angels to collapse some of the negative structures that were put in place by fallen angels and etc., which kind of coincides a little bit with maybe some teaching you've had, religious and traditional practices, where they talk about, fallen angels and things like that, and how this plane of existence ended up becoming quite often a Satan's playground. Okay, so here is her tweet, and she had some good news to share. She said that several days ago, she saw the collapse of the Nephilim that were holding the House of Vanderbilt. And so again, Nephilim, think fallen angels, and that she saw this. Okay, she's not taking credit for it. She does say that she does some work and binding and things like that with them, but just sharing what she sees when she works in the astral realms. Is that woo enough for you? It is for me. But I thought about it. When Hurricane Helene came, the Vanderbilt, the Biltmore, which is the Vanderbilt estate, which is now at times open to the public and, kind of a money-making deal, was flooded. And it does sound as if some of the imperviousness that the Vanderbilts have had is leaving our realm of existence. So, moving along with that thought, I did notice that the Biltmore has a website here that talks about, let's see if I can get to it quickly for you, that they'll be opening to the public on November 2nd, which at first I didn't think a thing about. I just, oh, November 2nd, that's fast. Okay, now then I got to thinking about November 2nd is the conclusion of the one of the biggest weeks in dark witchcraft, the Samhain holiday. Now it's also used in Wiccan practices, so it's all about intent and what you do. But it is known to be one of the weeks that those that don't walk in the light do things like harm little ones, things like that. And I thought it might be, it just struck me with one of those intuitive blasts I get downloads that it's opening to the public November 2nd, but they've got things planned for this coming week beforehand that won't be open to the public. Now, if you'd like to know a little bit more, you can click on the Biltmore here, read about it. Here is a rather well-known picture of uh, a pool that was at one time in the Biltmore um, estate there. I don't know if it's still there or if it's open to the public. If it is, it's been frequently noted that it's quite similar to this photo. I only got part of it. I didn't want to have any copyright violations, so one person is deliberately cut off in the screenshot because I can share portions of photos with you. But if you're interested in the artist that did this and has done a lot of other very, to me, disturbing artwork, here is the link to their website. And the where I got this photo was from the link I can't tell you about. I went to wordpress.com and then I searched for DC, as in Washington, DC, and then pizza, GATE. That's a compound word. And it's a primer. And it was done from 2016 to 2020. Almost all the links are still active. And that's where I got this one. And if you're just starting to get familiar with that whole theory of harm to little ones and how rampant it was and pervasive it was, it's a good primer to start people on learning what the symbols are, what the slang is, things like that. Very good thing, but I'm not allowed to put that down there. But again, it's nothing crazy. It's a blog that's on wordpress.com, period. So you can decide for yourself if this is that. The person that did the blog that I'm referencing here is convinced that this artist is a survivor. And it is reflected in that art that there's apparently a lot going on with them. And then, if you're thinking about the fact that we're being told that in the astral realm, that evil is falling away, that we are going from dark to light, it kind of makes this make sense. Look here. Here's an article from Modernity. I wanted to get you a regular, just a link for that. Witches complain they can't cast spells on Trump because he has some kind of protection around him. It's not working. And they referenced a few discussion threads, what people that are trying that are given some alternatives to do. It's a good article. And again, if you're active on the X platform, you can just simply you can do a search for spells on Trump and get all sorts of copies of this information. So we've got modern day witches that admit to trying to spellcast on our 45th president, finding that it's not effective anymore. And I think I give credit to that to all the millions of good people that are just blanketing he in any positive endeavor he or his team are embarked on, and his family just covering them with prayer and protection and good intentions. And it's working, folks. It's working. We are learning to wield weapons of light from the safety of our own home that are effective. How about that? I love it. Now we have a report, not totally confirmed, by Hilarion that the protection and schematics that were surrounding the House of Vanderbilt has now fallen. Okay. The Biltmore estate is opening the day after Samhain ends. So where I want to go with my tarot read, first of all, I want to ask is there truth in that supposition that in the process of going from dark to light, that this family, this very powerful family, have lost a great deal of their protection, plus insights and information, because as I said, I think that we are going to be going to they're going to try to recoup if they can. And that's going to involve harm to little ones in the coming days. And I think that's why they're waiting until November 2nd, the day after their holiday, for Biltmore to open. Now, I mentioned, and I'm going to have to go back to the share screen for this, but I mentioned that there was an empowerment element to my video, just besides the fact that if you got goosebumps when we talked about some of the protections and imperviousness of the Vanderbilts being gone, take a look at this. Now, this is again getting woo. There was on Rose Rambles, and I've got a link for you. I didn't do the whole article. I didn't know how I felt about the whole article, but there was a portion of it that I thought was very relevant. Again, as we learn our tools of discernment and using them, we realize even if something's not the most infallible source, there's usually some truth to be drawn out of it, and we learn to discern what that is. I'm going to share with you what I thought the element of discernment in this article is, and you're welcome to read the whole thing. I'm not trying to be vague about it at all. So let me go back to the share screen. Okay, we want the Facebook. Okay, and the link that is for Rose Rambles takes you here. Supposedly a Lord Maitreya, okay, who is supposed to be an ascended master, was giving some advice. Now, I'm not familiar with Lord Maitreya. I go to the top CEO, the creator of all creators. But I did like some of what was shared here. Okay, it says, many of us have already been through the earth-shattering pillar collapses. We may be still experiencing them again at deeper levels. Think back to one that you have been through and how it shifted you, helped awaken you, even while it was scary, even painful. For me, it was learning about the significance of red shoes, which that artist, by the way, that I mentioned, has a lot of red shoes going on those children in her art. This is what the Just Awakening Collective is experiencing now, but at a much more rapid pace, a pace, he explained, that was quickening. Okay. Then he goes on, Lord Maitreya warned that we may be seeing greater displays of anger and violence to others and self in the coming days. Again, that's why a lot of times I talk about things we can do from the safety of our own home and the privacy of our own home, ways we can contribute positive, loving energy to the change from dark to light. And he has asked that each person visualize the world and wrap it in love on a daily basis. That's where he started getting me. I thought, yeah, this sounds good. This sounds like something love-filled, light-filled I can do and I can recommend to others. This can be simply visualizing the earth, however you visualize it, okay, dome, sphere, flat, whatever, in a beautiful, he says rose color, I like white, holographic white. Okay, however you do it is perfect, as it does not need to be complex at all. Just a love bubble, guys. Okay, a glittering, safe love bubble. He showed me that as we do this, we create a new foundation, one that someone whose world is collapsing can reach for. I saw people whose pillars collapsing using a grappling hook and reaching for the layer of love. So again, think about a layer of love around the world that would welcome a grappling hook, someone just grasping like they're trying not to drown in a pool as change goes on around them, grabbing onto that love, that light that we're putting out there. Each person surrounding the earth becomes an anchor point, and the love they send then spreads across the globe, connecting with other anchor points. It looks like a netting of light, of love, strong enough for one to grab onto. During this visualization with deep intention for doing this visualization with deep intention for a few minutes a day will have profound effects. It sounds like such a simple thing, but it is often the simplest thing that has the greatest effect. So I just want to put that out there. I'm going to do that daily. And I'm not going to, I know I have people viewing from Finland and Norway and France and Australia, New Zealand. So we're lots of different time zones. Several times a day, I am going to stop and I'm going to visualize that netting of light around the world. And that can be a safety net that someone can grab onto if they feel like they're drowning in events or big changes that are coming on us. And that light is just nothing but love. Love for this world, love for everybody on it, and just wanting to be able to reach out and be of some help, to spread that light, be part of going from dark to light. And I'll be an anchor point. And if you want to be an anchor point, please be one too. And we'll connect that way. And again, that spiritual realm that Hilarion already works on and that we do sometimes ourselves with our prayers and intention. But let's do it a little more intentionally. Let's do it. Let's picture this world wrapped in love and light. And let's also picture the plans and schemes that are rooted in evil or negativity, failing on a ever increasing basis. And by the flip side, because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, if we're going to have huge failures on the part of those trying to do negative acts or have negative outcomes or evil, on the flip side of that, let's have an intention or a prayer be that those that are working for love, for light, for positivity, for good change, for with no harm or harmful intent in their hearts to be more successful than they ever dreamed possible. So we're going to picture it, okay? And who knows? Maybe those shenanigans guys are going to hit bottom, and while there's still time, you know, turn things around and make a choice. We are a free will universe, okay? And we are loved beyond our wildest dreams. So I want to ask, again, let's go back to what I'm going to do with the tarot. I want this information since I am probing into the both the Biltmore estate and the Vanderbilts. I want the information I receive to be free from any veiling attempts they made, which won't be nearly as effective if even half the information I'm hearing is correct. So we want accurate insights and information about that situation, my download that they were going to be trying to do some recouping of energy in the next few days until they open for the public there at the Biltmore or the Vanderbilt family of themselves. So let's see, was there truth in what Hilarion shared that she saw and was part of, plus additional insights and information about and or the Vanderbilts and or the Biltmore estate. And like I said, especially in light of that download that I got. So I'm going to switch the camera so you can watch me work with the cards and we'll find out together. Again, our yes or no element is just asking about the truth and veracity of what Hilarion reported. And then no matter about that, we do have the fact that we've got some frustrated witches that can't cast spells against Mr. T like they wanted. And we're learning how to be kind of bulletproof that way, guys. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And it doesn't take a lot other than prayer and intention. And yeah, it can happen. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera. We'll do this. If you heard something in the background just as I switched the camera, Nova decided to tip over the trash in here, which luckily is just paper and things like that, you know, because this is an office. It's not food trash. But she's being a, what can I say? She's young and she's frisky and she's having fun. Okay, so we are asking yes or no element. Was there truth in what Hilarion reported about the collapse of the um, power grid surrounding the Vanderbilts? And if I phrase that incorrectly, then I'm just going to ask the universe to phrase it more accurately for me, plus additional insights and information, especially regarding the uh, the goosebump download I got that the Biltmore is going to be the site of some nefarious acts before they open for the public in an effort to change things back. So we want insights and information. Again, I'm not entailing anybody in that area to go there and investigate or stop or hinder. We can do our thing to view failure of nefarious acts and safety for little ones from our own home, and it's just as powerful halfway across the globe. Okay, our first card is the Fool. Well, I want these to stay on camera, but I need a little room there. Okay, then we have the Five of Pentacles. Yep, we're moving to a new spot. It's not always easy, but it's definitely worthwhile. Ah, the Star. We've got two major arcanas. All right. Good job. And again, since we were talking, this is beautiful. This goes right along with a yes kind of for the Hilarion information. We've got King of Pentacles. Then we've got the Nine of Wands. We've got the Moon card, which actually is a good card to see here. Okay. And Temperance. Out of 7 cards, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, major arcanas. This is important information. Absolutely. I kind of knew it as I was compiling it. Okay, so I'm going to get additional cards, but let's look at what's going on here. If you go strictly by the fact that an ace is a hard yes, we don't have one here yet. But what we do have is the Fool is indicating setting out in a new direction. This is our yes right here, guys. This is saying yes, she was right, because there is a new direction for the energies and such that we're surrounding and protecting the Vanderbilts, and other families are also in the process of dealing with some change and a curtailing of their connections, energy, and ability to do nefarious things in kind of the esoteric realms. The Five of Pentacles, um, I'm actually getting that this is still involved with Hilarion, and it took a lot of courage to come forward and say, I work in the astral. I work on the spiritual realm, and here's what I do. And she willingly did it because she viewed it as important. So good job for you, Hilarion. I'm glad I know you on X, and maybe someday we'll meet in real life. I love that. The Star always talks about, first of all, we got a nod to the celestial here. The Star is also our 17th major arcana. While this wasn't a political read per se, it's always a nod to the fact that the 17 movement is talking about helping our world. Now, they're working on it more from a geopolitical range with, I think an acknowledgement that it encompasses far more than that, that the 17 team is doing what they're doing, which actually helps. Their boots on the ground on the geopolitical. And Hilarion and you and I are boots on the ground for the spiritual or astral type of realm, all coming together to do some really good things in helping our world go from dark to light. The King of Pentacles here for the current. This is a very good card. It's saying there's been some good results and tangible change because the Pentacles are all about tangible. So yeah, there is some tangible change going on here that is taking our world from dark to light. And we're part of that. If you're watching this and you're not Team Dark trying to find out what the light workers are doing, and if you are, that's fine. But think about switching teams, okay? Because we're where it's at. Let's look at the near future. We've got the Nine of Wands, determination. Absolutely. There's God wins. Nothing can stop what is coming. Okay? We're determined to see this through. And we'll take the slings and arrows and hits that come with it. We're going to make it happen. We're part of it. Okay? And look who he's looking at. He's looking at Moon, which usually indicates, like some death, definitely some lies, deception. There's nothing really positive about the Moon card. Often talks about, yeah, a going away, a lessening. So again, that destruction of those power structures and spheres of influence for them being the Vanderbilts, families like them, and those that serve those that shouldn't be served, the dark. Okay, it's going away. Now, we have to have moderate expectations. Okay, Temperance card is saying it's not going to happen all overnight. Not, it's been a long haul. Lots of good things happening. Not going to happen. It's not going to conclude overnight. Although I still feel like we're getting ready for some big moments where there's going to be something so profound that we feel like here's a moment in time, okay? That we'll be able to mark forever. But the temperance is just, and the temperance is very much a teamwork card. And part of this video has been talking about the teamwork we can do. We at-home light workers, what can we do? So again, teamwork is very important to get this result. Let's get some more cards and see what the universe is trying to tell us about that. Okay, this is beautiful. Victory card. Justice, love it. I love when the universe is just, I mean, I almost don't need to read. I'll just put the cards up and you guys can see what's happening here. Okay, King of Cups. And again, a nod to the hard work that's being done by the 17 team, light workers everywhere. Just a nod to the hard work with the 8 of Pentacles. And then the King of Cups always tells us, as we consider topics that are off the mainstream, use your emotional intelligence. Listen to those goosebumps if they get raised on something they're trying to tell you. This sounds real, guys. Let's pay attention to it. So use your emotional intelligence is kind of the message here. But again, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing can. We're going to be victorious. Okay. I hope we live to see it all come to fruition. But the teamwork that we are contributing with our very deliberate manifestation efforts, discernment, our envisioning is a big part of the success. And it's something that they couldn't quantify or put on a data spreadsheet, but it is important, and we're part of that. So let's recap. This was kind of one of my more woo topics, and it was a little diverse in nature. We looked at a light worker, Hilarion, who I've looked at before and gotten good insights about that. She was reporting that the Vanderbilt family had suffered some losses with their protective Nephilim, etc., on the spiritual plane of existence, and that she was able to view that happening and shared it with us. And then we looked at the fact that the Biltmore Hotel is busy trying to recover from the flooding from Hurricane Helene. And they have announced, and I shared a link on their website, that they will be open to the public November 2nd. This is the day after Samhain ends, which can be a holiday for those that aren't in the light, where there are things like harm to little ones and sacrifices done, etc., trying to accrue power, or in the case of the Vanderbilts, maybe to recoup some power. And so I thought it was kind of, I just got a feeling that they're not going down without a fight, and they still think they've got a way to fight or to mitigate their losses or what have you. So I wanted to take a look at that. Again, very woo topic, and I warned you at the start if that wasn't something you could consider, don't watch the video, so nobody complain, okay? You were warned. Then we jumped over to an article that was supposed to have included some information from an ascended master by the name of Lord Maitreya. And I shared the link in case you're interested to all of it. The pertinent part for me was that he suggested, and it just seemed to me like to be such a good, loving, light-filled suggestion, that I'm going to do it, and I encouraged others to take a moment several times a day and picture our world covered in a protective, light-filled, love-filled type of netting or bubble. That this netting is something that those that have not to this point woken up or haven't gotten very far along that journey, that they can grab onto and keep from sinking when big events and big shocks and jolts happen. And I love the thought of that these people could have like a grappling hook that would reach up and grab that net. I'm glad to extend that net. And I always love picturing things filled with love and light, even sometimes to the point of, this is a newer one for me, picturing negative persons or individuals, let's leave individuals, and covering them in that protective light. So any negativity they try to send out just bounces back on them and doesn't go where they want. I love the thought of that. And you know what? If we can think it, we can manifest it. Okay. So we were asking, was there some truth to what Hilarion said? and insights and information about this information. Well, first of all, Hilarion, you were indicated by the very first major arcana, which always talks about setting out in faith in a new direction. And again, I think the universe is giving you a big pat on the back because to come forward and admit that you work in the spiritual realm or an astral plane takes a lot of courage in this world we live in, because that can be criticized and ridiculed so very easily, but you've done it and you've done it very well. And you're sharing information that the universe is always telling me is accurate. So the recent past, this was again talking about what happened. The star, we got the 17 major arcana showing up here. Number one, the star always talks about how things are moving in the right direction. Again, and the direction is from dark to light. The King of Pentacles, again, says we're going to see some tangible results as this process continues. Now, there is going to be some pushback. There is. I feel like my download about the Biltmore and the Vanderbilts trying to recoup during Samhain some of the power and authority that they've lost. They're going to try, you know, let them try, I guess. We can't stop that, but well, I guess we can, and we will. But we're determined. We're determined to do what we can to help our world go from dark to light, to be the best version of ourselves, to realizing what a powerful tool and weapon love is, and wielding it and doing what we can to speed up or aid this process of going from dark to light for the world ascending. The visualization of your world, again, think of it covered however you want to view the world. I don't care if it's a beach ball or a dome sphere or however you would choose to visualize it, but the whole world covered in light and love. And it's love that you spread out. Remember, we've learned how to be conduits so we don't empty ourselves out in this process. Okay. And then I always like to picture the world. This is when I do picture it more like a globe. I think of a beach ball. Have you ever had fun in the water and tried to push a beach ball down? Well, for millennia, our world was held back from its own ascension path and growth path. And now we're helping to let it come to the surface and go back to where it should have been. And we're part of it. So, yeah, so there's going to be more losses on the part of the Team Dark. That's coming their way. As we consider topics that are off the mainstream, Ascended Masters like Lord Maitreya, Hilarion, being a light worker, whatnot, use your emotional intelligence to decide what to listen to go, I think that's right, or I'm willing to listen to more. It doesn't sound wrong, or that's a recommendation I can do no matter how I feel about so and so. Use your emotional intelligence. Victory and justice headed our way. We are going from dark to light. We absolutely are. By the way, one of the other things I did, I shared an article about how, much to their consternation and frustration, witches that have been trying to cast spells on Trump are acknowledging that they're useless. So if you are one of the many millions, like I am, who pray for his family, his team's protection, and anybody that's working to bring our world from dark to light, I let the universe decide, our loving creator decide who that is. Those prayers have been heard and they are bulletproof, literally. So the hard work continues, okay? Because we're not there yet, but we're getting there. And teamwork is essential to the process. So again, join me in that visualization of our world covered in light and bathed in it and healing and ascending. And we are along for the ride. That's it for this video. I thank you so much for sticking with me because, you know, when I started this channel 3 years ago, I never imagined I could touch on subjects like this. And here I am talking about things that I previously would have thought, but not thought it was safe to talk about. And now I know that even in this complicated world where I sometimes have to speak in code, it's time. It's time. If something feels true and right to you, even if it isn't something that follows the mainstream narrative, it's time to speak out about it or act on it or do whatever your heart tells you is right to do. Again, never asking you to do anything that would put you in a unsafe or harmful situation. We can do what we do from the safety of our own home. We don't have to be the boots on the ground, but we are the boots on the ground in a very special way. So until next time, I send you love, light, and I wish for you everything bright. I hope you want to accept it. If you do, it's yours. And if you don't, that's okay too. All right. It'll be ready for you when you're ready for it. Bye.